Hi everyone, Shawn Smith from Don't Diss My Ability, and welcome to part two of my series on ADHD at work. This is something that I have a ton of experience with and insight that I can share with you. And I wanted to look at it from the perspective of the individual who's applying for work, because again, with all the experience that I've had, I can definitely relate. And so there are many challenges to being an individual with ADHD applying for work. One is that we feel and sense the world more deeply than others. Another way of saying that is that the highs get us higher and the lows get us lower. So one of the issues that I experienced while applying for work after my diagnosis was the rejection over and over and over, and the anticipation of hearing back and thinking that it was going to be good news, but actually turning out to be negative news. And so to share a little insight into what happens in our thought process is that our minds cycle very rapidly. And when there's an opportunity for our mind to worry or wonder, that's where it's going to go. And so we will imagine in our heads that we've already got that job or we don't. And so when we have that opportunity to worry or wonder, our thoughts that we have are based on prior negative experiences or positive potential outcomes. So if someone has been passed over for a bunch of jobs, then they're immediately just going to go to, well, I'm not going to get it anyway, but I'm sure I'll apply. But for those of us who haven't had all of those negative experiences, then, or if we think we're more qualified for a job than another, and we get excited about it, we actually will imagine ourselves there. And so every time that kind of plays over in our head, it solidifies more and more and more. And it's almost as though we've got that job, it's ours, it's already happened. And so when rejection hits, it's that much more, it's that much harder on us to really process what has happened. And then you multiply that by however many times the person was rejected, and then it amplifies that feeling of rejection. So you can imagine over time what that does to a person's self-confidence and self-worth. And again, it being an invisible disability, a large challenge is that in our society, when we say that we have something, the other person will say, well, prove it, show me. And with an invisible disability, that's extremely challenging to do. Again, I know this from my own experiences of having to kind of backtrack and go through every negative thing that happened to try to justify where I'm at. So it's tricky. And one of the things that I've learned that I can share with people is that this is why I really try to steer people with ADHD towards entrepreneurship. The rejection is still there, but it's different. And for every high and for every low, you know that it's going to go back up. And there's also a lot of entrepreneurs who have ADHD and anxiety and depression. So it's kind of, this is the tribe where I've really kind of found my groove and more people like me. So it is challenging to find work, that you're going to want to do. People with ADHD, we like to do a lot of different things. Sitting down at a desk all day, every day, I would get bored and then I would get resentful. And so the goal really is to keep things entertaining, keep your mind stimulated. It's okay to have more than one job. I actually encourage people to get, 2 part-time jobs instead of a full-time job. It's okay to stay at a job for a few months, explore it for a while. And if you don't like it, then move on to something else. It's a tricky thing, and it's a bit of a slippery slope because we go through so much rejection and it does take its toll on us. So if you're the spouse, partner, or parent of an individual with ADHD who is trying to find employment, just some things to keep in mind. And it really is, even looking for work and applying for stuff, because when we look at a job application, or maybe it's a job competition, we see what's there, but we automatically see what's not there too. And then we wonder, okay, are we actually qualified for this? And then maybe we are, maybe we aren't. We throw our hat in the ring anyway, only to find out that we didn't get it. Or maybe by a long shot we did. And so it really is tricky. Thanks for joining me today. Tomorrow, I plan on talking about the perspective of the spouse for part 3. And I might even talk some more about human resources, because I think that's equally important for people to know how human resources operate and what people with ADHD can do to try and circumvent HR or learn the rules of the game to try and get in the door, get the toe in the door a little bit easier than they otherwise would have. Thanks a lot for joining me again, Shawn from Don't Diss My Ability. If you find value in what I'm offering, please feel free to like and share with someone in your network. Take care and have a great day.